Hello, welcome back to the channel, and first of all, thank you very much for the great response to the last video, the position. I think this is something that we've all been looking to get into our whole golfing lives. The question is, are we ever going to achieve it, and is it even worth trying? I've got the answers for you in just a second. First of all, the disclaimer. I've been advised by a number of you to put out a disclaimer, and quite honestly, I don't think this is a bad idea. Where we're trying to get to, people, is somewhere that golf professionals are getting to, and I'm not just golf professionals. I'm a golf professional, and I'm not getting there. We're talking about tour professionals who've been playing this game since their 4th birthday, and are flexible like, rubber people. You could get Chinese gymnasts who can't twist and turn as well as some of the golf professionals who are now playing golf for a living. So you've got to be thinking about your own health before you do this. There's going to be spinal compression when you do this. You're going to be bending and twisting your upper body in a way that it's never done it before. So please be careful. I don't want to get any law cases against me. So if you are going to do this, please take it slowly. You've got time. You haven't learned it until today. You might never learn it, but it doesn't really matter, because quite honestly, if you are still here and you're still watching, then the reason that you're watching is because you want to see if that's humanly possible, if you could maybe get there and maybe get some of the consistency in your game that you see on television. The other thing I want to tell you is I told you in a couple of videos ago, this is going to cause a lot of technical thought, and technical thought is also derogatory to the nature of playing the game. If you're playing the game and thinking about this position when you're playing it, you're stuffed. It's not going to work. And you're going to need all the timing that you can muster in order to get a good strike on a golf ball with your body contorting itself the way that we're wanting to do it now. But let's go there just simply because it's fun, and because we all really have been playing this game for years and really want to actually get as good at it as we possibly can. So what really can you do to actually get into this position? I think we've got to start at the bottom really here and work up, and that really means thinking about the ground forces we're going to use and the timing we're going to use to actually apply these ground forces in order to get our body rotating, which will eventually allow us to get into this position. Which means, strangely enough, this position, which is actually going to be after impact, is actually starting in the transition. You'll see an awful lot of guys in an awful lot of positions, whether it be Furyk or Johnson, and what you're actually seeing is, however, more similar positions in impact than you'll ever see at the top of the backswing. But the transition, the way that they give their body time to get into the right position, is really one of the keys to success. And that means the move again. If you've been watching my videos, I'll put a link after this video to the video on the move. It's the way that you actually start the downswing, which is so important. This kind of breaking of the knees, this releasing of the tension in your lower body, which is just going to start this lower body movement before your arms have actually reached the top of the backswing. So when your arms and hands are around about shoulder height and the laws of physics are still pulling your arms up, you're changing direction by releasing the tension in your knees, and this could actually and will actually cause a little dipping in your body and almost a feeling of sitting into the downswing. This only lasts for a fraction of a second. So I did have a problem in Germany teaching this, telling people the feeling of kind of sitting on a bar stool, and they really were doing that, and then unfortunately they weren't getting off the bar stool in time. So what we're now tending to say is, when you get to the top of your swing, break the knees and immediately start using these shear forces. That means you're getting your left leg to push your left hip back out of the way, and you're using your right leg to push your right hip through. And again, I'm talking as a right-handed golfer, so we could say lead leg, lead hip, trail leg, trail hip here to actually get this rotation going. If you look at Rory, he keeps his feet pretty much on the ground when he's doing this. If you look at Dustin, he's really using the right heel and right leg to actually create even more rotation in his hips. And that's really up to you to experiment a little bit with which is better for you and which is easier for you. I think you'll probably find that allowing the right heel or the trail heel to come off the ground is going to make it easier. However, it will bring its own negatives. It's never win-win. And when you start pushing off from your trail foot, you are likely to lose a little bit of balance and coordination in the swing. You might get too early or too much weight transferal. So what you want to try and do is get your body used to making this movement here with just your hips. If you want, you can put the club on the ground and cross your arms over your chest, even leave the arms hanging, it doesn't really matter. But what you're trying to do is get this feeling of breaking the knees and immediately using these shear forces to push you around. Once you get virtually to the limits of the hip rotation without lifting the heel, you will have to almost straighten the legs and get this right heel or trail heel coming off the ground. Don't forget, even when you're practicing your lower body movement, not to allow your upper body to stand up too much. You want to have the feeling of it staying down. The next step really is to start involving your upper body, and really we're looking for more mobility in lower and in the upper body. So when you first start doing this, it might be worthwhile doing a couple of stretches just to get your body in the mood. And one of the best ones is to stand more or less with your arms straight out in front of you, and then you want to have the feeling of turning and rotating and getting basically your left shoulder or lead shoulder up as high as you can, your trail shoulder down as low as you can, and almost like kind of hanging in this position. If you can do that, get this kind of feeling, and it isn't killing you as far as your muscles and joints are concerned, then you're not really very far away from where we want to be. Again, usually if you're looking to stretch your body, change your physical abilities, you want to be putting 4 to 8 weeks of practice in here, doing repetitions, anything up to 30 a day, and over the course of 8 weeks, up to 1,800 repetitions in order to make a physiological change. So it's something you've got to be very serious about if you're really thinking about going out there and making major changes. Again, if you have a feeling of any kind of stretching in the muscles, that's good. If you're getting any shooting pain from any joint, stop and go to a doctor, or simply accept your physical boundaries and learn to play golf better. That means learn to get the ball around the park better, and don't be trying all the time to have better and better technique, because unfortunately, like all sports, it's probably a young man and women's game, and we're all basically kidding ourselves. But as I said, it's good fun to kid yourself sometimes, so let's carry on. The next trick, once you've actually got that movement, is to get the upper body moving. Now, I like to do this with the club in the hand, but if you are, like me, not allowed on the golf course at the moment, you could do it without a club in the hand. At the moment, we want to keep both arms straight when we're doing this. So as I'm rotating, I'm keeping both arms straight, and this will help me in the backswing and in the follow-through to also get more mobility. And the trick, especially in the follow through, is to get as much hip and shoulder rotation as possible. As I said in the last video, if you can get your arms up to shoulder height, then you are basically making room to get through there. This position that we're all looking for, this feeling of being after impact and the club is still basically behind the hands. In order to get into this position, you've got to get hips open, shoulders down, but you don't want to think of this position as the end of the swing. This is like a local station that you're going to actually drive through without stopping before coming into the main station at the top. And you don't want to get the feeling of basically practicing and stopping here every time. You want to, on the contrary, to be freeing the way around your body out towards the target and trying to keep your arms as straight as possible. And doing this with a golf club will help you to really feel the weight and the forces which are working on your body. So again, might be a good idea to kind of do this progressively. Start without a golf club, then build a golf club, just making small movements backwards and forwards, almost like you were chipping the ball. And once you can do that, then you can actually start to build it up to larger movements and eventually to the full thing. At the end of this movement, you want to be able to reach down with your trail arm and touch your knee. And that's even when the legs, as you can see from me, are pretty straight and I can still get down there. And that is basically means I've kind of freed the mobility in my body so that my body is going to be able to kind of turn through there without basically getting its own way. And that's taken time. I've been working on this all winter, and it's really been something which hasn't come overnight, and that again, something to remind you of. So at some stage we want to start to hit golf balls, and I think at this stage it's a good idea to involve either an alignment stick which you hold along the shaft around about a grip's length sticking out at the end of the shaft, and then you start not with full swings but with a type of chipping movement. And if you do this correctly, you'll actually find that the stick never touches your lead side. And this will only be the case when you're chipping. As soon as you actually get to a longer swing and the lower arms start to rotate here, the end of the stick will come very, very close, and it will either slightly glide over the left side of your body if it doesn't give you a very short reminder. And that's where we come to a tool which I've shown you before on the channel, the TRS. Something we like to get our students using simply because it does give them a reminder and they get more feedback. So when we're using the TRS, we're looking here to get around the body again and hit the ball. So I'm going to aim a little bit to the right, first of all because I don't want to break the camera, but second of all so that you can get a feeling of where the club is coming around me. And I actually got a reminder there, which means either that I wasn't turned far enough, or more likely that when I've stopped here, the TRS has actually come around and hit me anyway, which I think is a little unfair. So that's basically a chipping kind of a movement. The next trick is to take it up to more of a pitching movement, around about chest height on both sides. Always trying to get the shoulder down. If you can do this, then you're likely to get a reminder here. But you can see how at the end of the swing I'm trying to stay in spine angle, and I'm trying to get the the shaft almost vertical to the ground here, if not a little bit in my spine angle as well. Now I definitely got a reminder there. I don't see that as a bad thing, especially the longer the golf club gets, the longer the swing gets, the more that the TRS will come back and give you a slap. But as long as it's just a light touch, it's not really a problem, and you are getting closer to this position, which I hope we'll be able to show in the video here. Again, this is really a major change in a golf swing and something that a lot of these guys are working on daily in order to do. But it is something which is going to help your game, your entire game. It will help your short game, it will help your long game, it will help your drive. The nearer that you can get to this position at impact, the more lag tension you're going to have on the golf club and the better you're going to hit it. You do this at your own risk. I hope, however, that you like the video. I'm going to be back very soon with videos showing you how I chip, pitch and drive the golf ball using this position, or getting as close to this position as I can. Again, please don't forget to hit the like button if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done already. The little bell will give you notifications the next time I publish a video, and you can see all the past videos if you go onto my channel. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.